I'll start my cue thing at 8 o'clock. We got a minute before I start reading.
There you are.
Hi, baby doll. Snookum bookums. I don't have him yet. Where am I? Here he is. Like a rock, I was strong as I could be. Like a rock. And we'll get started here in how many minutes? Half a minute. Half a minute, half a minute, half a minute, half a minute, half a minute. What?
Just wondering if you could pull your shoulders, that sleeves up a little bit.
Oh my God, Chris, I'm going to smack.
You said what? I wasn't going to say anything.
There you go. Okay, I'll get started here. Started. Let's get started. Let's get it started and let's get it started.
Don't forget to give yourself a thumbs up.
Thumbs up. I will. Okay. So today we're going to talk about something I've talked about before, but it's really important because there's been some developments in this. Tonight, I'm not coming to you as a trans woman. I'm coming to you as Batman. Just kidding. Not as a conservative, not as a liberal, not as anything they use to divide us. I'm coming to you as a human being who is sick to death of watching this community rip itself apart, while people pulling the strings sit back and laugh because the truth is ugly, the truth is uncomfortable. The truth is the only thing that saves us. Wait a minute, this is not the right one. This is not the one that I want to read. This is the wrong one, Chris.
Hi, Annie.
Hi, Annie. Try this again. I think I got the right one now. Okay. Let's try this again. Hi, everybody. Brooke here. Rerun, retake. I want to talk about something incredibly important, something that could change how you see yourself, your child, your grandchild, or anyone in your life who happens to be transgender. Yay! And I want to say this in a way that anyone can understand. My 83-year-old mother or my 11-year-old grandson. Your pastor, your neighbor, the trolls in the back. The people who support us, the people who are confused by us. And the people who fear what they don't understand. Let me start right here. If you've ever wondered why I am like this, why is my child like this? Why does my grandchild feel this way? Where does transgender identity come from? Just don't do that. I'm about to answer, and before I go any further, let me say something very clearly. You cannot influence someone to being transgender. You cannot talk somebody into being transgender. You cannot make someone transgender. And you cannot make someone not be transgender. Because what I'm about to show you happened long before you're born. This is not about friends or social media or confusion or attention or trends or waking up on the wrong side of the bed. This is about how your brain was built in the womb. This is about biology, not choice. This is about our development, not influence. So take a breath, open your heart, and let me explain this in a simple way. How we are built before birth. Now, some of you might think that this is a rerun, but believe me, hang with me. By the end of this, I'm going to have proof, undeniable proof, that transgender people are born this way, that we have no choice. So hang with me till the end of this, and you'll see I have proof. So before anyone ever held you, saw you, named you, or taught you anything, your body began building itself. Let me explain this. Let me explain it like this. Imagine building a house. First, you work on the outside, the walls, the roof, the foundation. Then later, a different crew comes in and works on the inside. The wiring, the plumbing, the rooms, the layout. 2 different teams, 2 different timelines, 2 different processes. Now imagine those 2 teams aren't working at the same time, the same speed, or even the same exact instructions. That's how human development works. In the womb, your body sex, your physical parts, form early in pregnancy. Your brain gender identity forms later in pregnancy. Two different crews, two different schedules, two different processes guided by hormones. So sometimes they match and sometimes they don't. Not because anything went wrong, but because nature makes variations of all time. That's how we get freckles, left-handed people with two different colored eyes, people who are autistic, people who are intersex, and yes, people who are transgender. Just human variation. Nothing to fear, nothing to shame, nothing to hide. And part two, the brain and the body don't always match. Now here's the simple, honest truth. Your body parts develop first. Your brain identity develops later. They are built on two separate timetables with different hormone signals controlling each part. Sometimes these signals line up perfectly, and sometimes the brain gets one set of instructions while the body gets another. If that happens, the person might grow up transgender. Not because they chose to, not because someone influenced them, not because they're confused, because how their brain was wired before birth. This isn't political. This isn't emotional. This isn't spiritual conflict. This is biology. And once you understand this, you finally understand why trans people always say, I've known this since I was little. So, this is why you can't talk someone out of being trans. Think about how kids work. Kids know who they are inside, even when they can't explain it. Some kids know they're shy. Some know they're outgoing. Some know they love animals. Some know they hate loud noises. And some know, I feel like a girl, like a boy. I don't feel like what the world calls me. That feeling is not learned. That feeling is not influenced. That feeling is not picked up from a cartoon or a TikTok video. It comes from the part of the brain that already formed before they were born. This is why you cannot talk somebody into being trans. You cannot talk somebody out of being trans. You cannot shame it away. You cannot pray it away. You cannot push it away. You cannot ignore it away. You can suppress it. You can hide it. You can bury it. You can shame it, but you cannot erase it. Because you cannot change someone's parental wiring. Yes, some kids get confused and they deserve help too. Now I want to speak responsibly here because balance matters. There are kids who feel lost, different, feel scared, feel unsure, misunderstood, big feelings, and that is normal. Just because a child expresses something doesn't mean that they are definitely transgender. So here's the important disclaimer. Anyone, child or adult, who thinks they might be transgender should always talk to a qualified medical or mental health professional. This protects trans kids, confused kids, scared kids, kids going through unrelated issues, parents who want clarity, doctors who want accuracy. Being transgender is real, but so is confusion, and both deserve proper care. The intersex connection. Intersex is like a hermaphrodite, by the way, for those of you that don't know. Most people know that some babies are born intersex or hermaphrodite, meaning their hormones, their chromosomes, and their internal or external sex traits don't match usual patterns. Doctors accept this because it's visible. But here's something most people never learned. The brain can be intersexed too. If the brain develops with a mixed male typical and female typical patterns, even if your body looks standard on the outside, that's a brain-based intersex variation. And that explains most transgender lives perfectly. Variation just happens inside the brain, not outside the body. And guess what? That's just as real. The science behind safe reference and Dr. Schwab. Now let me tell you something important. There's a scientist, a neuroscientist named Dr. Schwab. He has spent decades studying how human brains develop before birth. His research is published, public, and peer-reviewed. He wrote a scientific review called Sexual Differentiation of the Human Brain. And in that review, he explains that the structure in the brain related to gender identity develops on a different timeline than genitals do, meaning the brain can develop one way, the body can develop another. This is not a secret. This is not hidden. This is not controversial, not in neuroscience. It is simply undertaught to the public. And yes, I reached out to him. He responded. He took my email seriously. He directed me to his published research. And reading it helped me understand my own life in a way nobody else ever explained. It didn't diagnose me. It didn't validate my personality, me personally, but it gave me the framework to understand myself. And you are welcome to read it too. Just look up Sexual Differentiation of the Human Brain by Dr. Schwab. The spiritual truth. Now I want to say something to every mother, father, grandmother, pastor, Christian, or believer, listener, whoever. This is not a rebellion against God. This is not a mistake. This is not a sin. This is not disobedience. This is not confusion. This is a variance in creation. That's all. God makes people different: tall, short, autistic, dyslexic, left-handed, intersex, born with medical conditions, born with unique wiring. We celebrate all of that without fear. So why not this? Being transgender does not mean you are going against God. You are simply living as the person God allowed your brain to become. Nothing more, nothing less. The emotional truth. Let me speak to people who grew up like I did. People who prayed at night. God, please let me wake up a girl. God, please let me wake up a boy. God, please let me stop this feeling. God, why do I feel this way? People who were scared to say the truth out loud. People who felt alone. People who felt ashamed. People who didn't have words for what they felt. After everything I've learned, the science, the biology, the timing, the research, I can say this: you were never wrong. You were never broken. You were never confused. You were